Dave.
Hey, Dr. Kimberly. It says we're live. I'm trying to triple duty. I'm signing some checks here because Trina's team likes their mileage checks on time. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Hey, Dr. Kimberly, we're live. I think I said that already.
Hey, Pastor Dave. So, you know what? Some kind of way, we really need to have like a day where we have all of these outtakes and some of the conversations and the things that happen behind the scenes.
No, we're really happy the behind the scenes is not recorded. You know, I mean, it's nothing that exciting, folks. So don't think you're missing anything, but it is wacky. I'm just gonna say. It's wacky and
I mean, you know, sometimes I'm putting on my eyelashes, gluing on a fingernail.
We're
trying to get the dog out the chairs. You know, he's just.
We're trying to figure out where Trina's cat is. You know, and I don't know if anybody's been watching. I think it's on Apple TV. It's called The Morning Show, or
you know something. What? That's my next binge show, and because I've been watching A Million Reasons Why, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
okay,
it is so good. But everybody's been telling me you need to watch. Where's Amber? I don't know where she's probably gone to the bus stop to get the kids. We need her to weigh in today. We're not talking about the milkman either. I don't know. He might come up today.
All right.
Trina, you missed it. Dave, it was such a good line when he says, yeah, because you know, they get their information from their baby's mama's cousin, Milkman.
It was like 20 steps removed, you know, and like, oh yeah, we trust that information. That's why we choose not to believe anything about, you know, COVID or vaccinations or how do we keep ourselves safe and yada yada yada. But before we I got two quick comments. The first comment is the reason why I brought up that TV show is because like these two people who are on screen are like, it's like Dr. Kimberly and I, we have our guest Trina. Well, they have like 50 staff people who are booking guests, doing technical stuff. They got 20 people in the control booth. They're doing all this stuff. And you see our technical crew and we're us. And it's mainly Dr. Kimberly. You know, I'm the guy that runs in 1 minute before we go live or sometimes 3 minutes after we go live. The second thing is Dr. Kimberly, don't tell anyone, but it's November. How did it become November?
I don't know. We were
I just replied to an email that I got on September 30th. And it wasn't anything important, you know, I mean, the sense of somebody said, hey, you know, we want to get together and talk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, as you might have guessed, our October was busy because I'm just getting back to you.
Well, I think it's interesting. I have an email that I responded to that the first email came back in August. So we're not trying to do the one-up game, but they're like, oh, yeah, we sent you this email. And I think I said yes, because I think they actually ended up calling me. But, or I called them when I saw the email back in August. But it was asking me to be a speaker all the way on December 5th. And I'm just like, this is so far away. Why are you asking me now? I don't even know what I'm going to do. You know, so I'm like, yes, okay, sure, I'll do that. And then I get an email this morning saying, oh, so we're getting closer because today is now November 2nd. And, you know, the gig is December 5th. We want to make sure, what do you need for accommodations? And I said, oh, how did we get all the way here less than a month away? And this was back in August.
Yes.
So, yeah, don't know what we're doing here. Before you know it, it'll be 2022 and you'll be right down the street, and we
Oh,
won't have any excuse. I guess we'll have to just find us a room over there, and
We're gonna have to build out a studio.
and
Yeah.
actually look, and actually we're sitting in the studio having a conversation. Guess what? We could be the morning show.
Mm.
We're just the afternoon show with, Dr. Kimberly and Dave.
I'm thinking I should probably suggest that to Special Olympics, because every organization in the building could use the studio.
And they really could.
Of course, they would use it around our schedule.
Of
Just
course.
saying. Just saying. We're not being what are we called, prima donnas. We're just simply saying it was our idea, so we get to pick our times first. I'm just saying.
Duh. And make sure our cups are sitting on the, up there, and just they're like, wait a minute, is anybody else supposed to be here? No, we got our own banners, and
just
y'all just work around it. Oh, I'm sorry, Trina. Did we tell you that the first couple of minutes we have our own like little monologue, and then we invite you into the conversation?
Well,
I'm just enjoying. It's good.
Here comes the transition. Here comes the sneaky transition. So November, let's not talk about 2022 or December 5th. Let's focus on November.
Well,
what's a critical, cool issue to focus on in November?
Veterans. November 11th is Veterans Day. Whoop, whoop. And I'm not making a big deal just because I'm a veteran, but
We'll just say amen. And I keep forgetting, my dad's also a Navy veteran. It took me many years for Dr. Kimberly to finally get through my skull. It's like, oh yeah. My dad, who will be 82 on Veterans Day. That's his actual birthday. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, but the significance of today, and as why Trina is the very first guest, because we're celebrating, Veterans Day all month long, well, every Tuesday, because one day definitely is not enough for all the sacrifices that those who have served our country have made, especially after we kind of watched the Afghanistan, fiasco. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that today. I think that it brought back to the forefront that we are still making sacrifices for our country. There's always some little war somewhere popped up that, we have to go and serve our families. So we take a moment of silence for all our fallen soldiers. Yeah. And all our PLWs. And to all those who served, we thank you. But Trina was the first guest today because it's near and dear to my heart. Thank you. Barbara Davies says that her late husband was a veteran of the Vietnam era, and my daughter is in the military. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Barbara Davies. We appreciate you.
Wow, excellent.
I don't think that everybody knows. I can almost tell you that most people do not know. I have been a veteran for, about 29 years now. Am I dating myself a little bit? Yeah.
Wow. That can't be true.
I have been a veteran. Let's see, Rudy is 27. So probably about, almost 29 years I have been a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just like a regular quote unquote veteran, if you will. But when I had a massive stroke in 2013, I was in the voc rehab program through the VA. And once you require skilled nursing care and other services from the VA, you're no longer eligible. And they put you into a program called independent living. Well, that's where I first met Disability Advocates of Kent County, and Dave and I, our relationship wasn't always so symbiotic when we first met. It
was we really didn't meet until that very first Invest in Ability that you spoke at, because we'll get there. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because not only were you a speaker there, you were the first unique speaker, but we'll get to that. No spoilers. That's just a teaser.
No spoilers. But, I think that one of the things that I have really appreciated about being an advocate is how I have been able to access so many services and be able to tell other veterans about the services that are available, because many do not know. And so the first thing that the VA did said, we're going to have to teach you how to be disabled. I was like there's really a class for that. Ha ha ha. That's just like saying, okay, we're gonna give you a class and teach you how, to be a female, or, how to be Black. Yeah, Black in America. Yeah, so there's a class for that. Yeah, right. Okay, let's just figure this one out. And, you may not be able to tell it, but Trina is visually impaired. And so I just said, because my dad was blind. And so when I'm leading him around, we always say, the blind leading the lame leading the blind. Ooh, Lord. Leading the blind, because he would hold on to the back of my wheelchair and I just would be pushing that, use that one good foot. And, he'd be pushing me. And it's just like, okay, yeah. So we're going to go to the left. Look, I'm the one that can see. I just can't walk. You can't see, but we finna figure this one out together. Mm-hmm. But, she came in and she was assigned to me and said it was her responsibility to teach me how to navigate myself in this world and figure out what my self-directed life is going to look like. Yeah. Yeah. So for many of you veterans, if you do not know, you can be eligible to be a part of. I think it's a separate program than the peer support that Trina's going to talk about and what she does. But I'm telling you, it changed my life. It changed my life. I'm not going to get all emotional. I'm not. Mm. And hopefully, our guests for next week will respond back or her schedule, because the first thing that Trina told me to do was go to find a friend. I was like, oh, you mean I got to like people? What? Get a friend. And she gave me some tickets for the Silver Line and gave me a big book and said, go to Art Prize. And I'm like, wow. And hopefully our guest, if her schedule allows, next week is going to be an artist who has focused on veterans, and her art piece for Art Prize of this year was, about veterans that are in my same situation. And I actually got to be one of the artists and part of her collective. So, yeah. Trina.
Yes.
Welcome.
Can you tell the people how you helped me to be who I am today?
Well, I believe you helped yourself be what you are today. I think I just gave you some direction and you followed through. And yeah, it's been a ride.
That it has, Trina. That it has.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you want me to talk about how we connected?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the VA has vocational rehabilitation program, and they have 5 different tracks of that program. And Disability Advocates works within 2 of those. One is employment through long-term services, and the other is the independent living track, which Kimberly referred to earlier. So what that is asking people, disability advocates, to come in and work with a veteran one-on-one in their home and identify any barriers that exist there, any kinds of accommodations that could be made, and make those suggestions. Now, we have an OT department as well that will do those assessments for the physical environment. And so I asked them to come in because Kimberly was having a hard time getting in and out of her home. And it just wasn't working for her. So our OT department came in and they did a lot. I'll let Kim talk about what all they did. But yeah, I met with her on a regular basis, at least once a month, sometimes more. And we just talked about what was going on and what is it that you want to do going forward and what are some options that you can take. And through that, she made all the decisions. It was all her choices. I just kind of did the research and found the resources that would help her get there. Is that it in a nutshell?
It really was. It really was. It just, the process of knowing that there is life after being told, okay, you're going to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. Yeah. And I think that to be able to tell other veterans that there's hope.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have choices about how you can live your own self-directed life. Mm-hmm. And being able to share that with others probably has been my greatest joy. That has truly been my greatest joy, to say, these are the services that are available, and knowing, I think that we don't realize that we're all in communities within communities. Mm-hmm. We think like, oh, okay, we're just, I go to church, so I'm just in this religious community or culture, or, I'm African American, or I'm Anglo, or, I'm a senator, I'm a county commissioner. We kind of just segregate ourselves off and never think about, well, how does this intersect with other areas in my life, and how do I bring this all together? And that was one of the things that was more than 90% of me being able to adapt well to this newfound disability, was knowing how, Kim, you don't have to compartmentalize, everything intersects. Mm-hmm. And being able to teach other people, oh yeah, let's connect all of these dots together, and we actually, you might be a piece and you might be a piece, but we all need to come together to form, this nice big puzzle that fits so jointly together. I think, was it last year? That was, I think, what we got from Disability Advocates of Kent County with the Invest in Ability, where everybody was mailed a puzzle piece. And you're just like, what is this? What is this? It's like, yeah, you are a piece to this big puzzle. And when we all come together and put our pieces together, we create this wonderful picture that everybody really can enjoy fully and wholly. And so I think that's what I have gotten out of how many years now of being associated with Disability Advocates, since 2014?
7 years.
Wow.
How long?
7 years.
Woo. Yeah, 2014.
Because, just to quick hit a couple of things. What you were saying, Dr. Kimberly, is like, yeah, it's there are a lot of TV commercials that encourage people to become service members, and then they can become veterans after they get discharged. So a lot of TV commercials come be of service. But once you're a veteran, it's like the TV commercials stop. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of help out there, but mm-hmm. It's like the crickets chirp, and and unfortunately it's a little too informal. And Trina is just owed such a debt of gratitude by us as disability advocates, and how we are able to serve veterans, mm-hmm. And get that word out there. She's active in a bunch of different committees. Mm-hmm. And, when she talks about getting our OT team involved with you, Dr. Kimberly, because of Trina's work in the community and people trust us, we got a grant a year ago, or a contract with Kent County Veteran Services. And unfortunately, this is just for Kent County. But we were able to do home assessments and provide home modifications for a number of veterans. Mm-hmm. Either the veteran is the person with a disability, or the veteran is the caregiver. Uh-huh. Of course, Dr. Kimberly's got a twofer in that. She's got, as a veteran with a disability and a caregiver who's a disability, Stanley. Give it up for Stanley. Barrington today. Woo! And so again,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
a veteran.
and it's where Trina, again, she continues to educate us and bringing in other folks. You know, the 2 years ago, back pre-COVID, you know, we did a 2-day training on the military culture. You know, when we talk about cultural competency, it's not only what is, you know, how do we understand the Black community, the Hispanic community? How do we understand the veteran or the service world? You know, and the part that just rings so much, something you said, Dr. Kimberly, is you're told first day, what, of basic, don't ask for help, do it yourself.
That's it.
And then you become a veteran and you need help. It's like, well, I can't ask for help. And it's like, no, ask for help. Help's out here. So, So anyways, it's awesome for both of you getting the word out, providing the service and support. Because I know you both do both of those things. All right. What women injured in combat's in the house. So awesome, awesome. So all that being said, thank you both for your continued, you know, what's that poetic line? You know, we will not go quietly into the night. It's like, no, we're going to say people earn this, and we as a nation, we got to get our stuff together for veterans because it's still not what it should be.
No.
And the VA just can't do it all.
Right.
We want to say thank you to Tracy Walls. Hey, Tracy.
Yeah.
Who is the chair of WINK, and to Miss Barbara Davies. We do have Zanetta Adams on our list, waiting for her office to contact us to be on the show for this month. So just know that we do know Zanetta, and we know her very, very well, and just waiting for her office to contact us back. But she also hosts a show, you know, letting you know she is the Michigan Veterans Agency Director. Yay. She is the director. And so I was on her show, I believe in August or September. I don't know. We've been busy, but had an opportunity to talk about all the services that I have received and been able to access. We talked about Disability Advocates of Kent County. So there's always cross chatter about what each person and what each group is doing, and, you know, what services are available. And of course, you know, we here at Rolling on the Road love to give you some, you know, unbiased and bipartisan information, just so that you're informed. You know, you have the ability to ask the questions, and we appreciate it. All right. So Barb says she's a friend of hers. Yes, she's a good friend of mine. Let's see, we got a plaque over here that's hanging on the wall that you guys can't see, but we were instrumental in holding the first Women Veterans Resource Fair at the Healthcare for Homeless Vets down in Commerce, umpteen years ago. So, I mean, we have done a lot of grassroots, and now we're grass tops, and we just keep moving. We really, really do. But we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. It is now 23 minutes after the hour, and it is November. I think everybody knows. I think by now everybody has turned the heat on at least one time just to knock the chill off the house. And we want to say thank you for tuning in to Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We are always so grateful to Disability Advocates of Kent County and to 100 Shades of Diverse Ability. Yes, everybody has to change to be inclusive, even in the disability community. So we're changing disability to diverse ability because we want to make sure that, you know, we are being more inclusive. We have more people now who are coming into our disability community. Those who are long haul COVID. Wow. COVID-19. They are an ever increasing group.
Yes, unfortunately. And then, Yeah. I mean, people are still out there with COVID. I just got an email today. A Kent County sheriff deputy just passed away from COVID.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's another level of service to the community. And yeah, so our thoughts and prayers for that family and
Yeah.
our sheriff and the sheriff's department.
And another friend who has run a pantry for more than 20 years in the community died from COVID. I mean, it was just 2 years ago. She and I both received an award from Kingdom University International. You know, she for her work with the homeless and her food pantry, and I for disability advocacy. And she just passed away last week from COVID. Yeah. It's still real and it's still here. And you were going to say something, Trina?
Well, I just was going to ask if you have anybody coming on the show this month from the West Michigan Veteran Coalition.
And that would be Mr. I think his last name is Ryan, is it not?
That would be Paul Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can get him in. Probably will be next month, unless one of our guests that are scheduled for this month does not show up. But Dave, I believe we've had him on the show before, haven't we? As a part of something.
It was probably last year in November. You know, again,
I think we had him on. Yeah.
It's hard to believe how long we've been doing this. But
right? Oh my goodness.
Because it was only going to last 2 weeks or so, because that's all COVID was going to last. But Trina, why don't you give us a little spoiler on what Paul's going to talk about? I mean, what would he talk about?
Well, I mean, the coalition does a lot, and that's a great collaborative of many. There's like 600 members of the coalition in West Michigan. They cover 13 counties. They do some fundraising and help veterans in a lot of different ways. There's the Family Assistance Fund, and they've helped a lot of veterans with, so maybe some utilities or getting some beds. There was a family that moved up here from another state and they had no beds. Well, you can't even buy a bed frame because the back orders, all the shipping issues and everything. So they reached out to disability advocates, and I was able to find somebody to donate that so they wouldn't be sleeping on the floor anymore. But they go over and above and do everything that they possibly can to help veterans in need. There's 4 subcommittees of that coalition, of which Paul and I are co-chairs of the Quality of Life Committee. And we have also joined up together with the Phoenix Mobility Rising, and we have a transportation program for veterans. But it's not just for veterans, it's for their family members living in the home or their caregiver, anybody that might need a ride somewhere. And it doesn't have to be a medical appointment. It could be to go to the grocery store or even a social event. So there's flyers out there, and we're also looking for drivers. It's all volunteer run, so the drivers are volunteers. They get a small compensation for mileage, but they're wonderful people, and we're actually next week going to have a volunteer appreciation luncheon for them at Disability Advocates. So it's just a really great program. If you need a ride, you want to volunteer for the program, give us a call. I can connect you.
All right.
Awesome.
I can add in, let's see, here we are. What's a good number for you, Trina? 616.
616-949-1100 will get you to our information line, and they have all the information.
Nice stuff, because we got to get back to our shameless plugs. You know, there's our website somewhere below me, dakc.us. You can contact us with the contact box or whatever you call that official thing on a website to find Trina. And then, because does the West Michigan Veterans Coalition, like it doesn't have a phone number, does it? You got to get to a member.
Well, it has a website, and you can either Google West Michigan Veteran Coalition. I believe the website is westmichiganveterans.org. And there's a lot of resources on there, and you'll be able to contact who you need to. Deb Unseld is the operations manager, so she runs the website, and she's just wonderful. I mean, she can do just about anything.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's made up of, like I said, over 600 members. There's 4 committees. Besides the quality of life, there is healthcare, employment, and an education committee. And they all meet like monthly. And the big coalition meeting is every other month. So I believe that's coming up in sometime in November. So the coalition website will have all that information as well. If you'd want to join, everybody's welcome.
We want to just say thank you to Tracy Walls. She said she is an Army vet and a 29-year disabled veteran, and she's proud of it. So yay.
Yay.
We're trying to catch all of these comments here. All of our wonderful technology.
Juggling our technology. Like I said at the outset of this show, everybody in the control booth is helping. There's the control booth.
Here. So yeah, if anybody wants to be an intern, we like interns.
Help get the word out, because again,
do a mug and some sanitizer, some masks. We have great perks, isn't that right, Dave?
Exactly. We got to get the word out because, the VA, they're too busy, to film commercials about contact the VA. This is the phone number. And then, of course, I don't know, Dr. Kimberly, do they have like 1-800 call the VA kind of thing? And then do they have humans answering the phone?
1000. Think I know the number by heart? What?
And is it a helpful number?
It is, actually.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
good.
answer you pretty quickly, once you get through the, that blockade of punch 1, punch 2. And if you're pink, push, number 7. Oh, no, if you like blue, push 8. You're like, what? No. Yeah.
Excellent.
By the time you get done pushing all those buttons and you get to talk to a live person, actually, it is. It's extremely, extremely helpful. I was on the phone with them all last week. Yeah.
Yes.
They are helpful. Well, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. It is now 4:32 and it's November. Can you believe it? And we're still on the air.
Well, we're on the air, folks, because there's still A, things to be addressed, and B, awesome people addressing them. So I'm going to embarrass Trina a little more today again by just saying the fantastic work she does in helping veterans, in peer support, in the vocational rehab arena. So what do we do in vocational rehab with Trina? Or Trina, what do we do? Trina. Can't read my script. My teleprompter's broke.
Oh, wait a minute. Where's the teleprompter?
Yes. So we do, with Voc Rehab, we help any of their customers that need it with any of the supports, independent living, or even figuring out what is the next step in my life. I got out of the military and just have no direction and no purpose. And that's where we can really shine, I feel like, because we can help them, figure that out. It takes a lot of trial and error, and but it also takes tenacity, and I think veterans have that, and that's the one thing that really helps them get through. Besides that, though, we also help veterans that aren't in Voc Rehab. So even if you're not qualified for that kind of service. We have 2 people on staff who are veterans, and one is a certified peer support specialist, and the other is a social worker who understands those systems and can really help navigate not just the VA system, but also like DHHS and the community mental health and all of those other agencies that we really need to interact with for resources.
Right. Well, and again, it's knowing all those little and big organizations that there's so many folks out there that can help, but if you don't know them, and sometimes the big organizations can be the hardest ones to find the front door, or I should say the right door. So.
Is that somebody over there? Do I see?
You probably caught my cat.
It's like, hello. I want to be included. All I see is like the top part of his ears.
Yeah.
The cat continues to be running around.
Yeah. You remember Winnie, Dave?
I do.
Yeah.
That'll make Cassandra happy. She's the biggest cat lover I know. And
well, I've got 4 of them.
Ooh. All right, cat lady.
Oh, goodness.
Who would ever thunk you to be the cat lady? Yes. Yeah.
So back to, the 7 years ago, Dr. Kimberly rolls into Disability Advocates. Trina's connecting Dr. Kimberly, to different folks who can be of assistance here, from our OT team, addressing her home. Trina, you were working on independent living issues, and wasn't there somebody else involved? I just remember because back in the day, and unfortunately 2 weeks ago when we had our annual Invest in Ability dinner, Dr. Kimberly was a little under the weather due to getting 20 or 30 shots the day before. Mm-hmm. We're talking injections, not tequila shots. And so not any kind of stereotypes. She was a sailor. And so 20 never mind. So anyways, at our Invest in Ability dinner, we used to have like 3 folks that we worked with go up and give, their testimony, and they were always awesome, powerful stories. People greatly appreciated them. And though, we were like, instead of having 3 people, how about we only have 1 this year? And Trina and Joanne, who was our lead occupational therapist, are like, well, we worked with this veteran and we did IL peer support. We did some home assessment work. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I don't even know if I met you before the dinner, Dr. Kimberly, but it still will. It's the number 1 classic scene when Dr. Kimberly, which doesn't happen now because look behind her, Rudy's not there. But her son, Rudy, helped her up the ramp at Meyer Gardens. And Dr. Kimberly's given her awesome presentation. And Rudy takes a step forward and puts his hand on Dr. Kimberly's shoulder. And she goes, oh, that's time for me to wrap it up. And she wrapped it up. But it brought the house down because, again, everyone was sitting on the edge of their chair listening. And just that little bit of, again, and Rudy didn't do it in any comedic way, but it just struck everyone just so perfectly. And then, of course, fast forward through the years because, and this isn't at all to diminish what other nonprofits do in the sense that a lot of nonprofits will have somebody who receives service come and give testimony. And it's like, yep, Dr. Kimberly did that, check. And then it's like, we're a different organization when we do our advocacy because as Dr. Kimberly's mentioned on this show a number of times, she gets invited to go with us to the state capitol to give testimony on our behalf. Dr. Kimberly, she went back on stage at Invest in Ability when we did, her and Tommy Allen were interviewed by Phil Tower when we did that Tonight Show version of Invest in Ability. Dr. Kimberly has been part of almost all of our Laugh Fest events.
Yeah.
Dr. Kimberly was on stage with the governor on our 3 years ago. 2019, in January of that year when she just got inaugurated as governor. So, Dr. Kimberly we keep inviting, we invite a lot of people back. As we speak, there are people downtown Grand Rapids working on the Pathways project with Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. People with disabilities out in this balmy November weather, maybe not balmy, out there as advocates, measuring, judging pathways to tell other people what to expect. And so, again, we're inviting people back to continue to advocate. And Dr. Kimberly continues to be, again, that's her. She served our country. She serves disability advocates. And so, again, it's been awesome having those opportunities because Dr. Kimberly is Dr. Kimberly when she's with the governor, when she's with a peer, when she's with Trina and I. The proverbial "what you see is what you get." It's Dr. Kimberly is not putting on masks or all of that. She's just like, all right, it's time to fix this world because it's still broken.
Yeah.
So that's what we appreciate about Dr. Kimberly is she continues to answer the call here in our area. And of course, now in most states and many countries via our Facebook platform and other things being cooked up.
Yeah, we're stirring a pot, all right. Yeah, we are. We're stirring a pot. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And guess what? You get to hear it here first.
A lot of good stuff happening. And yeah. Oh, folks. Because whatever it's worth, I might be tenting it next week, Dr. Kimberly. Those opportunities for you to become the advocate for glamping that I know you want to become, especially winter glamping. You look to be like, is Stanley not turning the heat on? Because it looks like you're all bundled up.
I am. He just...
It's that Army veteran. That Army veteran. He was. Yeah.
No.
Oh, goodness.
And he says, "Oh yeah, are you cold?" I said, "Well, a little bit." Well, I'll put it on 62. 62. No. All right, 68 is the highest we're going here. Okay. Yeah. Just saying. Just a little chilly. A little chilly. Who says men don't go through menopause?
We just don't admit it.
You just don't. He's like, it's hot in here. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. I just, he buys nice footies and nice blankets. So I have a plethora of these beautiful purple blankets that he buys. So I just like, yes, if this means gift, we don't have to cut the heat on. I think we just cut the air conditioner off October 15th. He likes it pretty chilly.
All right.
He does. Trina, is there anything left? We know that we can reach you at 616-949-1100. And we know that 911 means we can get some immediate help, but they are not 911, but it is in the middle of their number, 616-949-11. See that? 1100. And if you call, you can reach the illustrious Trina, and she can set up an appointment with you, whether that is virtual or if you feel comfortable coming in. Just remember, you have to answer the health questions and make sure that you're masked up. And you do have to use a little hand sanitizer. They have it right there at the door for you. So you can feel comfortable about coming in. And everyone there is fully vaccinated. As always, we ask that if you have not been vaccinated, to please, please, please go get your vaccination. They give them out for free at Walgreens. You just fill out the little slip and you're good to go. They ask you to sit around for maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, make sure there's no reaction. And as you can tell, I have had 3 full doses because Moderna didn't have quite a vaccine yet, the booster. So I got another full dose. Oh, Jesus. Along with the flu and pneumonia all on the same day. Don't know what I was thinking. But yeah. But I'm here and I haven't, turned yet.
No zombies.
I haven't turned yet. Yeah. No. But I'm still here. I'm still human and have done quite well. So please, if you have not been vaccinated, please get your vaccination. Remember to social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, because we are now in the flu and pneumonia season. And people are still dying. They really, really are. We want to say thank you so much today, Trina, for taking the time out just to talk about the wonderful services that you provide and how you have just, moved so far into the community and made so many great connections to make sure that veterans, really, whatever it is that you need that will improve the quality of your life, please dial 616-949-1100. And yes, that 911 that's in the middle, they can help. They're not an emergency, but they can definitely give you information to keep you from being in an emergency situation. And I am a testament of what going to Disability Advocates of Kent County can do for you. They help you to live a self-directed life and not just giving you a hand out, but a hand up to say, hey, who am I going to be today? Kind of walk you through that process. And I'm telling you, that's why we've been here since May of 2020.
Still putting good information out. And definitely let me echo that. Thanks, Trina, once again, to embarrass you by saying you continue to do awesome work on behalf of all of our participants and consumers, be they veterans or not. And thank you, Dr. Kimberly, for another excellent episode and a great start to the month of November as we honor our veterans and talk about ways that our community needs to continue to support those who served.
Absolutely. We want to say thank you for all of you who tune in. We are in 50 states, 160 cities, and we are in 9 countries. And yes, we communicate with them even sometimes during the show. 2 weeks ago, we were communicating to someone from Kenya. Yes. I got an inbox today for a young lady who is in Nigeria that says, hey, I want to be on the show. We got you. Trust, we got you. We just have to figure out the time zone. I think that's been my thing, is trying to figure out the time zone between the United States and Nigeria. Yes.
We might have to tape that and do a tape delay show because it could be midnight there right now. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's been our hold up, is trying to figure out the times. Because I love the show. The show is going to basically be, a sneak peek into the life of a person with a disability in a different country, and just, what their day-to-day looks like in other countries as a person with a disability. So I'm really excited, and we're still working, trying to get all those pieces together to navigate between Nigeria and over here in little old Michigan. We're working on it. So I want to say thank you so much, for reaching out. And yep, we're going to keep working on it to have you here on the show. And for anyone who is watching in the 50 states, please, you can also call 616-949-1100. And if you are in South Dakota, you can still call that number and they will help direct you to the closest disability network to you. and how to get you connected. So please don't feel because you don't live in the Michigan area that you can't get help. You can still dial 616-949-1100, and we can direct you to wherever you need to be in a place that's closest to you to receive services, whether you are a veteran or a civilian. So we appreciate you. This is only a comma. So until next week, you guys stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Kimberly.
Thank you.
Thank you.